Hey, thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today's episode basically is a tutorial on how to shoot a Bat Mitzvah service. Now this is just a service part. I have another video coming out in a little while on about the party itself, but this is just a service, basically the setup, how I use the microphones, what I shoot, what's involved, and we'll talk about the actual service itself, and we'll just go over it and we'll just kind of learn together, and I'll just show you how to do it. So if you ever want to do it on your own, you can do so, and that's what this video is about. But before we get into the video, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit, as you all know. I do appreciate that. And let's get into the video and I'll learn, and I'll teach you my 35 years of experience. So that way, if you want to get involved in doing something in the future, if you want to start a video company, if you want to do something, you can go ahead and do it. And if you have some confidence and feel like you've done something, a little bit of experience in the background, and that's what this video is for. So again, let's get into the video right now and hope you enjoy. Okay, so basically what we have here is a Bat Mitzvah service. So usually if you do any type of parties and type of events, if you do any bar mitzvahs, usually there's a service and then there's usually a party. The service is typically in the morning and then the party is usually in the evening. So if you're going to do any type of, or sometimes it can be right afterwards as well. There could be a twilight service. There could be all kinds of different things. If you have when you shoot event videography, it could be all types of things. So basically what I'm going to go over with you is my technique, what I did. I have a list below, a link with all the type of equipment that I use. Basically, everything was shot on a tripod, a really professional, high-quality tripod with a fluid head, a shotgun microphone. We wired up the podium with a wireless microphone. We use a Sony wireless microphone. We don't need any light. Usually the temples or synagogues are very well lit, so it shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. Most temples are not a problem. Everything's pretty well lit, especially the cameras today. They're pretty sensitive, so that should not be an issue. So I'm just going to go over with you this entire service. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my technique. So if you want to have some experience, if you're thinking about maybe doing this for a business, I've been doing this. I did this for 35 years. I started in the 80s and I retired a while ago and is no longer doing it, but I wanted to share with you some of my videos. So subscribe below and you'll see all the different videos that are going to be coming up in the future. I have another party, an awesome party from this one coming up. It's going to be really cool. You're going to like the party. The party is really nice party. Great DJ. So that's going to be a really high energy party. You're going to see pretty much how that's done with handheld and monopods, and we'll just get to that later. This one here is basically, it's point and shoot. This is really documentary style. This is not cinematic whatsoever. This is really just straightforward. Shoot the party. Shoot the service and just, capture it as it happens. So that's what we're going to do. So let's just go over this and just watch how this happens. So this is an edited video, but you can see a little bit how I started and what my technique was. So that way you can learn and possibly learn how to do it. So we usually start out, I'd always start out with the outside shots, if it's in the morning or even in the evening. As long as it's light, I would shoot the outside with a temple or synagogue or wherever the service was being held. I'll get all the opening shots. It would correspond if it's either the fall, get the leaves, if it's the summertime, whatever it is, whatever's happening, you know what I mean? So I get the outside shot to the temple. And this service here was, so they did a $1 service afterwards, so basically, you can look it up a little bit. You'll learn as you keep going, as you go on, if you're shooting a lot of bar mitzvahs. But just look at the detail. I'm getting the yarmulkes, I'm getting the programs. The kids are out, the parents are outside with the photographer who I knew. So once you develop a relationship with the photographers and bands and DJs, whatever, things get easier and easier. So things unfold and you're shooting everything. I like to incorporate this in the beginning of my video so they can kind of relive a little bit about, what's happening in the beginning, which is kind of nice. So we'll move on a little forward. So as this is unfolding, guests are coming in, the kids are coming in, people are arriving to the temple, and basically I'm just shooting, again, background. It's just my style. I just captured, a little bit of bits and pieces of just the day unfolding. The kids coming in, the parents would come in, the adults would come in. You can just see a little bit of everything. So you can just see the intro, the beginning of the actual service itself. And then before actually the service would start, the photographer would go with the bar mitzvah girl and the rabbi, and we'd get some shots beforehand, some candid stuff, some staged. So I would just shoot a lot of this kind of stuff like this and just incorporate it into my video later. This is just mostly he's looking at the photographer, but I'm just incorporating it into the video, which I think is kind of a nice touch. I think this is kind of nice. I always try to get the parents engaging with the children. This is the parents here, and then the son. He's next. I did his bar mitzvah, of course. In this type of business, you do get a lot of referrals, lots and lots of business, because if you do a decent job and a great job and a decent price, you get a lot of work. I still get calls today, for all kinds of weddings and work, and I just don't do it any longer. But it's nice to know that people appreciate your work, and that's what it's about. So I'm trying to teach you, give you some experience. So if you're interested in doing this, that's what it is. So you won't feel uncomfortable. So this is before the service. All these shots are before the service. So the girl was carrying the Torah. The photographer was getting the shots. So I took the advantage of that and really got all these nice shots. And these are really, really special shots right here that they're gonna really love. And this is what makes the videos really special. If you look for the details and look for this is what people love. And this is what I want to do. This is what I want to show you. So if you want to get involved in doing it, this is what you should do. So this is how the video kind of faded out, and then we started into the service, and you can get an idea what that looks like. Any questions or comments, leave below. If you have any issues or shooting or something you're not sure about, let me know. So this is the beginning, people coming in, being seated. So I'm in the back on the tripod, and most temples really don't like you shooting video. So that is the issue. So usually once you set up in the back, you really can't move. You can't move, you can't use any light. You really have to be like very, very still in the back, either behind a tree, or they have sometimes they have like bushes in the back, or if they have a fence or a gate or whatever they have in the back, you have to kind of camouflage yourself a little bit in the back. And that way you're out of the way. So most temples are pretty good about it, but some can be really, really, really strict. So really to get to know the rabbi, get to know the priest if you're dealing with them, find out what's going on, be comfortable. And don't forget, it's their house of worship. No matter who or what religion, you have to follow the rules and guidelines, and that's how you get along the best. And believe me, I know. I've done it a long time, but I know. Okay, so they're getting into the beginning. They're singing some music. So they got a basically square shot. She's sitting right there. Typically, the Bat Mitzvah girl is sitting up at the bima, which is basically like the altar if you're a Catholic. This is in Judaism. This is called the bima, and that's where they sit on top. So basically, they'll get into doing some prayers. They'll do some chanting before they get into the Torah service. So once you get into the Torah service, she'll read the Torah. She'll read a Hub Torah, which is a subsection of the Torah. And then basically, she'll give a speech, and then the parents will come up and congratulate them. So that's kind of the flow behind the service. Services typically run about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the service. If it's Orthodox or Reformed or Ultra-Orthodox, depends what it is. If ultra-Orthodox, you probably won't be able to videotape it at all, so forget that. So that's not going to happen. So this is a conservative, which is they're very, very nice. This is a great temple to work with. All right, so we'll get down to here. Let's move it on so you can get some idea. Actually, this temple's reformed. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is reformed. So basically, they do play music in this temple. Most temples don't, depending on what it is. If it's Orthodox, Ultra-Orthodox, or conservative, or reformed. So reformed basically means they allow music. They're a little bit more relaxed with their rules, let's say. So that's the difference between that. And you can do all the research yourself and figure that out. I just wanted to show you with the video and just how I shot it. So again, on a tripod in the back of the room, you can see it's very steady, very square. This is what it is. So basically, point of interest, focal point on the girl. That's the most important, or a boy, depending on whose service it is. And you can see the rabbi was speaking. Now, usually what I would wire the podium, I put a wireless mic in the bottom part of the podium. So if you see this part of the podium here, it's hard to see it, but to the right is a wireless mic, and I snake it to the side, and it's underneath in the back, so you really can't see it. It doesn't stand out, but it's there. So here's a wide shot, and let's just get into here. So this is called generation to generation. Okay, so that's what they do. So the rabbi, they're talking, everyone's up, there's some prayers, and then they pass the Torah from the grandparent to the grandmother to the parents, and then right down to the child. So that's considered generation to generation. So if you see that during a service, you'll understand what that means. It's a very important part of the service. It's a really nice thing to have. It's a nice thing to do. And you can see that, and you can get an idea what it looks like. So they pass it down, he holds it, and the grandparents, and then the mother would hold it, then the father would hold it, and then the girl would actually hold it. Okay? So vador, which means from generation to generation. And then she's walking around with the Torah. And typically she'll go around the room. Again, if you want to shoot these videos, you have to get a little bit of insight, what's involved, so that way you'll have some knowledge what's happening. See some videos if you want to try to market yourself to doing some bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. This is the best way to do it. Watch my videos, ask me questions. Like I said, I've shot thousands of parties, so be glad to help you. Hope the video's not too long, but I really wanted to get a good tutorial out for you so you can see what it's like, what's involved. This is unfortunately a SD version. It's not a high definition version. That's all I had left. 2014, so it's a little older. But the quality's not bad. You can hear the audio. The audio's clean. So she's talking, and then people are coming up, and then getting ready to do the Torah service. So she walked around with the Torah, and then they're doing the prayers. So everybody gets an aliyah. So an aliyah is like an honor to go up for the Torah, and that's what an aliyah is. So everybody gets, the grandparents will come up, if you have a child, friends, whoever. And then she would chant certain parts of the Torah. And you can hear her audio is pretty clean. That was probably a good 50 feet back, quite a bit, maybe 60 feet, that's way back there. A good tripod's so important at this point, you know what I mean? Because everything, you have to be really steady and make sure everything is really clean. And that's the most important part right there. So I'll go a little bit. And then they go to the next person will come up, and the same thing will happen again, a different part of the Torah, another prayer, and then she'll read it again, another portion, another part. So I won't get too long with this part here, so I just wanted to show you that. And then that's her brother, so the brother came in, so she was finished doing all that, everybody was done, and now he's dressing the Torah. So if you want to know what that means, basically at the end of the service, they have to they dress the Torah, they put the crowns on it, they put some things on it, like the pointer, different things on the Torah, and they put the Torah away back. So that's pretty much what they do at the end. And then she'll come in and she'll have a speech. And she has a speech, so that's what they do. Like I said, this is a really long one, so there's almost an hour already of actually shooting. So make sure you have a big enough memory card. Make sure you have backup cameras ready to go just in case you have some failure. And always check your audio while you're recording. That's the one thing about me. I was a pet peeve with that because, it's a one-shot deal and you can't do it over. And then the parents would make speeches and the rabbi would talk, and then getting towards the end, they're putting the Torah away. All right, and the rabbi would talk a little bit, and then she would come up, and there's a special blessing that she did for her, which is a really nice thing to capture. So these are really nice things to capture. Right? So, I mean, photography is great, don't get me wrong, but a video really unique and really relive the sound and the audio. And to me, that was always the most important thing. And photography is great, don't get me wrong, but I think they all have their respective place to be, and that's where it belongs. And I think video is just as important. All right, so I'll get back here. Let's see. And then we have some dedications. This is probably the teacher, one of the people involved in in her education would honor her. Okay, so this service here, I think it was the late afternoon service. I forget, like I said, 2014. So what they did a Havdalah service. So basically what that does, it ushers in the next day. So Shabbat is on Saturday, and then they end Shabbat by doing this specific service you'll see. It's a really, really nice service. They light a candle, they do some prayers. It's really, really nice. The Havdalah service, it's really nice. So you light the candle, and she's doing some prayers. So if you see this is what this is, so you know. Okay, so you can always ask how they do a Havdalah service. If it's an evening, like a service, if they have an evening service, you can do the Havdalah, so you can ask that question. So this way you know what it is. So this is what this is. They basically usher in the next day. They have wine, they smell spice, they put out the candle, there's some prayers, there's a lot of nice things involved with it. It's a braided candle, so if you want to know that it's a special candle that they do use for this. Okay, so she's doing, and then they put the candle out. They actually put it out into the wine, and that's traditionally how they do it. And it's getting to the end now. So this is the end of the service. So we have an hour and 20 minutes so far runtime. So just so you know, make sure you have enough time, media, make sure your batteries are fully charged. You can see, and these can go quite a long time. All right, and this is pretty much how it would end, and then I would either fade out, because usually they would just like jog to the right, and you can't move, so everyone's leaving, so you can see that. So at this point here, I'm just gonna back up a little bit with the camera and pretty much fade out at this point here, and that's pretty much how that's done. So if you have any questions or any comments, leave below. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of an insight of how to do bar and bat mitzvah services, and that's a whole nother animal. The next one I'm going to be doing is the actual party for the same girl, and it's a really cool party, so tune in for that one. Subscribe below, and you'll get to see that awesome video. It's really cool. Again, thanks for tuning in, and you make it a great day, and don't forget to subscribe below so you get all the notifications and everything that's coming up in the future. And also check out my all my YouTube videos. I have tons on there as well, to all different types of parties. So if you're thinking about starting a video or a film production company, I'll be glad to help you. So that's it for this one. You make it a great day, and be safe.